Hey, before we get into the episode, we want to talk about our friends at Miller Lite, because from fireside conversations to game days, this time of year means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the light beer for people who love beer. White Sox Dave, tell me about a great time you had a nice March beer. Your
favorite month?
Yes.
This is one of my favorite months.
No, it's your number one month. You blogged it.
Yeah. I love March. March is the best.
So there's parade, there's March Madness, and this
St.
should all
Patrick's Day. Yeah. The weather's turning. It's the perfect time to consume a great tasting list from Miller Lite.
I agree. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers made from simple ingredients. Miller Lite is for the people who love the taste of beer. Malted barley gives it the rich, balanced toffee note flavors and the golden color you know and love. And a clean finish means it's always refreshing and easy to drink. Go for the beer that invented light beer with 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Miller Time is always a good time. It's the original light beer, and it's still the best one. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/redline to find the delivery options near you, or let's be honest, it's Miller Lite. You can pretty much pick it up anywhere that they sell beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. All right, Big Mag, welcome to the Mid Show, episode 6, week 3. This is Eddie Chief, White Sox Dave. Later on in the show, we will be joined by former Blackhawk
Dylan Strome.
We're going to talk about the Patrick Kane trade. Also, we should note to people who are in here for the Chicago sports, we talked a lot about the Patrick Kane trade on Tuesday's episode.
Yeah.
Go tune into that. We had basically a fresh reaction and found out 10 minutes before recording.
That sucked.
Chief has an existential crisis, rightfully so.
Yeah, still kind of going through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to get into all of that in the Red Line segment of the show later on. But for now, we could lead off with the White Sox Dave Challenge that aired yesterday. Dave, you've taken your first loss.
If you call it that.
Well,
that's what we're calling it, because it was 8.5 and you got 8.
Like I said, man, I didn't kick ever. I said this on camera. I don't think it made the cut, but I was a running back, and then I backed up like every position. I was the backup kicker because I could naturally kick. I haven't kicked in 15, 16 years, but I think I proved that I do have a small amount of leg in me, regardless of the number that was hit.
Well, like we said, we were all very complimentary of you. You said we wanted you to fail. I don't think that was true, but
you guys always want me to fail.
No,
that's not true.
I think it's actually better for this if it's like you get a streak and you got 10 going like
Agreed.
that, and then people are like, "Can you do this? Can you do that?" And then you just keep winning and winning and winning. It's almost like the reverse Smitty.
Yeah,
and
your natural defense mechanism is that you think people want you to fail.
It's like the old Rodney Harrison.
I mean,
nobody believed in us.
Yeah.
But we did believe in
I perhaps am projecting a little bit.
It's okay.
Because I like to see everybody else fail around.
Yeah. You set the goal a little too high. I think we could say that, though, no?
Yeah. Do you wish that you had been more like...
You said... We have the clip out. I said... I think I said 8. I think I do you think I could go 10 for 10?
I do, if you focused. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you focused, that was the challenge. Like
but
that,
I think
and
that's
we
the
learned that
challenge
early. Dave had it easy.
Yeah.
It was great.
So I wanted it to be like, I wanted to put pressure on myself and make it so as soon as the ball's down, I'm going. If I would have squared it up, I would have gotten 10 out of 10.
Danny, you said you didn't like.
It wasn't
the
a lack
aspect.
of focus.
You didn't like the aspect that he was acting like he completed it.
Yeah, the live chat wants to know, if you aren't a kicker and you were a running back or whatever, why'd you say you could probably make 10 out of 10?
You did say that
I
on camera.
probably could make 10 out of 10 if I did it again.
You can't be like, if I tried. Yeah, if I tried, I could win a Super Bowl.
No, you couldn't.
And if you tried, you couldn't hit 10 out of 10.
Do you think I could hit 10 out of 10 if I just
tell him
if
no,
I
Ed.
took
You
my
have the skill to do so.
That's
you
the
have
point.
the leg
That's
to do
exactly
so. You have
what I'm trying to say.
The athletic tools, but it's more than that. That's kicking is a mental game.
I never
It's
kicked.
a mental. I know you.
But if you
have
never
it.
kicked, why did you say you can make 10 out of 10?
Because I know
The
that
chat wants to know, not me.
There is no chat right now.
Oh shit!
Chat's firing. Chat's firing.
Because I knew physically I could easily kick one through the uprights. I think for an extra point. For 10, I said I think I could go 10 out of 10. I duffed one, and the other one I just pushed it. It had the distance. If I do that again, and if I just, I don't want to say half-ass it, but if I take all the time in the world to square it up and kick it, correctly, then I would have gone 10 out of 10.
Take the L.
I'm not taking the L.
Take the L.
I'm not taking the
I'm
L.
trying to
Accept the L.
find what the this is third down. It's impossible to find like the average for college kickers because that is a thing. Like college kickers step up and they miss extra points
Pretty routinely. I would say 90% is probably
so
like if you
one out
took
of-
all how many Division I teams are there? I'll just go Power
120.
5.
Yeah.
You can go P5 or whatever. I'm sure it's like 90, 95%.
Yeah, so
Somewhere in there.
that's what I mean. Like, yeah, and they have the ability also to go. Clearly, they're on scholarship to do it. To go
Exactly.
10 out of 10, it's just like
I'm
they
not
lose.
a scholarship kicker. We're dicking around in a park. What are
That's
we
not what
talking
we're
about?
saying.
That's not
He's
what I'm
saying,
saying.
if they do miss, they clearly have the tools like you do. If
To
they
go-
miss, they lose the focus.
It's because they lost focus.
yes.
So it's the focus.
That's not all the time true. A block is counted as a miss.
Take the L.
Dave. You understand? Do they miss kicks?
Sure.
Okay, so let's take the blocks out of the equation.
Okay.
All of those kickers, like you, have the ability to go 10 out of 10. The reason that they miss.
So I
is
didn't go 10 out of 10.
That's
But,
the
like,
challenge.
I understand. But all right.
You're so like confrontational.
I'm not confrontational. I'm saying you guys want me to get like all riled up and all.
We just want you to
pit-bully.
take the L.
Danny, you speak when you're spoken to over in the kids' table over there.
I'm trying to help you and the chat.
I can kick I would say slightly above average.
I would say
I would-
more than that.
I would agree. For
Whatever-
an average
whatever-
34-year-old man.
whatever it is.
Sure, yeah. I would agree.
A little above average, I would say. But like I've never if this was like some throwing contest, I would have been like, oh fuck yeah, let's go. But it's kicking. I never kicked aside from like a couple of kickoffs in high school.
I guess I should ask: Is this
And I
challenge?
did have a touchback.
Is this challenge series going to fall down that
It's
wormhole?
not. It's not gonna fall down that wormhole. You guys gotta figure out a way to rile me up. And I could have put on a show and gotten all pissed off for the camera. I don't think this one was it completely.
Well, but it's not that. But I'm saying if we do an eating challenge, is it going to be like I'm not a competitive eater?
No.
You know what I mean?
Everybody eats though.
True.
Not everybody kicks.
True.
We
But-
needed to find an L.
Yeah.
You said over 8.5. You didn't hit that, and you still think you won.
I take
the L.
I'm not taking the L the way you
You
want me to
lost.
take the L.
What does that
lost.
mean?
You want me
What
to
does
be
that
pissed
mean?
off that
No,
I didn't
I just
hit
wanted to say
the
I
nine
lost.
kicks or more?
I need you to know that you lost.
Sure. Okay.
Yes. Sure means yes,
Fine.
but no.
Fine.
Do you think that Danny and everyone annoying you about this will make you want to win in the future?
Not for a kicking challenge.
Okay.
So next time you say, like, if you say
And
you could hit 10 free throws.
here's a better one that can be born off of this. I got into an argument. This is a while back with Scott Darling. I said that I could put one into the net in soccer with him. Do you think I could do that?
What do you mean? Like he's in goal?
Yeah, he's a goalie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't think so.
Scott's a fucking idiot. too.
I know he's a fucking
Yeah.
idiot,
Dude,
but
it's a fucking guessing game.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know the
probably
first
not-
thing about soccer.
Probably not as much with him.
I would just try to grip and rip.
Because he
and just,
won't be able to control it like
Well,
a
I think he-
professional.
Yeah,
But I
to
also-
an extent you could.
Sure.
Obviously.
But I also think like he's not like those guys. Like if you're one of the best strikers, you're fucking launching the ball. So like the goalie,
and that's like from extra point distance, and you're
it's closer than that. But
yeah.
but it's like they have to guess its own like because you don't have time to react. Where I feel like because he's not going to be kicking it 1,000 miles an hour like a professional striker.
What would I kick it? Like 70?
Oh no, I don't think so. Less
I
than
have no
that.
idea.
I think it's far less than that. But like Scott would probably be able to read it off of his foot and go the right way. I don't think he'd have to guess pre-kick which way he's going.
All right. This one was a challenge
So-
against myself and something that I'd never really done and something that I don't like boast about, like the whole 91 shtick with my arm. If it was something like a kicking challenge where I was against somebody, then I'd be like balls to the wall competitive.
All right.
But this is something it's like I've never really done
So
it.
like the PFT reply.
Oh, I'll do that 100%.
And you would want to win that.
I would absolutely want to win. I wouldn't expect to win. Everybody's seen him kick. He's like a legitimate kicker.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah,
But you would have more juice towards that.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's good to know. It's just because it's people who are like kind of getting these balls rolling on this. It was.
Yeah.
I figured you would just be like you're such a
naturally
prideful, competitive person that you're like, I'm gonna win every fucking
Like you
challenge.
try to, you compete in every conversation.
Yeah.
So do you.
I'm trying to help you, but that's what I mean. I can't even say
a
that.
help wanted sign like posted to my back.
This guy. I mean, like, what are we talking about?
It was from.
I know what it's
South
from.
Park?
No. Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
So okay, I guess we just need to figure that out. But when you say I'll go 10 out of 10, naturally we're like, ooh.
You guys are saying like, oh, I'd go 10 out of 10. That's not how it was. I said I think I could go 10 out of 10, and I clearly could go 10 out of 10. I just did it in this instance. That's all I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. I think that was very proven. If I didn't come close, then it'd be like, oh, look at this fucking idiot.
The only fear I have is if we delve into that path where it's like, well, I don't do this, I should lose.
No, you don't.
I mean, like, what if it's like, hey, we found a guy. I had the skunk master on dog walk today. Like, what if this guy's
I'm not
like,
getting
hey,
skunked.
Well, you gotta. Well, that would be funny. But
It'd be funny if
I'd be
you got
bad.
skunked.
No, I don't want to sit next to you when you're skunked. That's
I don't
not
wanna
good.
sit-
Yeah.
But
Guinness
like it'd
got
be
skunked
like
one time.
you got to catch 7 skunks in a house in how many minutes? Like then it would be like, well, all right, I'm not an exterminator, whatever. That's
What about like?
Chad has a question. They said it's 50. You said you could definitely hit a goal against Darling, and so if you don't hit it, are you just gonna be like, well, I never played soccer?
No.
Should we ask Scott?
Yeah, call Scott. Put Scott on speakerphone.
It's a good question from the chat. Thank you. Well, you call Scott. Let's talk about Game Time, okay? Because Game Time is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, created by fans for fans. Game Time is a ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest price. They've cracked the code on how to score deals on last-minute tickets. It's possible with the Game Time app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. Listen, we've all been using Game Time. 1 second. Chiefs just went to the Hawks Leafs game, was that?
Yeah, Hawks Leafs, Hawks Knights. I've been living at the United Center, seeing the end of Kane. We have Scott standing by.
Well, let's finish Game Time.
I know.
The purchase process takes just 2 taps and 10 seconds. And once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone. No printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text so you can get into the game seamlessly. Skip the hassle, Dave. Enjoy the moment. Download the Game Time app or go to the website, enter your email, and redeem code RLR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. It's that simple. Just use the Game Time app to your next event, concert, show, whatever it is. Use Game Time. All right, Scott Darling on the phone.
All right,
Sounds
Scott.
like he's in a forest.
Yeah, Scott, are you still there?
Yeah.
All right. So, what was the challenge that you said, Dave, that he could do?
It was like 10 kicks, like
Dave thinks
penalty kicks.
How many penalty kicks in soccer, if you're in goal, would White Sox Dave score realistically?
Dave?
White Sox Dave.
I mean,
He's currently 0 for 1 in kicking challenges.
I don't think he could kick the ball well. Not too optimistic about his soccer talents, but I mean, he'd probably go 5 of 10, I guess.
And
That's not what he was saying.
What do you think you would get, Dave?
I said 5.
Okay, so what do we have to set it at? 5.5, 4.5?
I'll see you at
Do you want to participate in the next White Sox Dave challenge?
I would love to.
You sound hung over there,
Bring it
Scott.
on, and honestly, like, because it's Dave, I'll probably like train for it, and then he'll go 1 of 10.
Bring it on, bitch.
Did you hear that? All right, well, we'll see you at the Lincoln Park Fields next week, I guess.
He's already underestimating me. He can't.
All right, thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott. There you go. So 5.5 is the goal.
What
Sure.
You're gonna set it at 5.5?
We can do it at 5.5.
All right, 5.5.
5.5. I kind of think that's a lot. I would set it at.
I have
4.5.
no idea what it is for soccer.
But he's got the advantage, though, dude. This is where
Yes, I mean,
I think you
goalie's
guys.
see
tough.
this you don't really have. I mean, you do have to aim, but I mean, I would just grip and rip. Like I would
Yeah,
put
but
every.
I see. Like when you grip and rip, I think that you'll put several. If that's your mentality, I think you'll put a few over the bar.
Probably. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is something I have no idea for. For the field goal thing, I knew that.
It was undisturbed. It was you and the ball.
That's why I wasn't like all gusto about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew physically the distance had zero bearing.
I thought you were hyped up for it when you brought cleats.
No, I was wet out.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
That's the only reason.
I was assuming that you were
you
taking it
can't-
seriously because you brought extra footwear.
You can't kick in the shoes I wear day to day.
I mean,
I tie these underneath like they're slippers, basically. I just put them on.
I'm just saying that made me think that you were.
It's not that I didn't take
Ready
it
to
seriously. It's that I knew it wasn't like some daunting task that I had to complete.
All right. Well,
That's all there is to it.
we could move on. Official stat keeper 2-1, and it sounds like we have our fourth one ready to go. You versus Scott Darling 5.5. Shootout soccer goals. Football to football. Mm-hmm. That's what they say.
Yeah, and I think we can get a fire goalie in there too.
Oh, yeah?
I think I got a guy we can call to show
Oh,
up.
that'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be real sick.
Yep.
Besides that, can we talk about your situation, your other situation, Dave? Tom Lay, specifically, I think I would like him to weigh in here. If you notice, there's something that's not open on Dave's desk at the moment.
Yeah, I fell asleep on the couch last night. Computer was on the coffee table.
Oh no.
And I woke up, went to bed, and as I was getting off the couch, I have like a liter and a half, I think, that I just refilled with tap water. It was completely full. I knocked it on the computer, and the computer's fucked up.
Damn,
So-
I thought you were just like very invested in this show.
I haven't had my computer open once for this.
Yeah, I know, because it's broken, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying for the show as a whole. This is episode 6. I've been keeping my laptop shut.
There we go.
That's the worst. I'm sorry to hear that, Dave.
Yeah.
You got to go find my guy, my prep school buddy.
Oh, yeah.
This happened to me when I was at prep school. I've never told you this story.
I don't. Maybe.
It's actually pretty sick.
So he was like the heir to the Campbell Soup fortune.
I think
kid.
I have heard this.
And I spilled a full Gatorade on my computer, completely was fucking fried. I brought it to him. He didn't look up from his desk. He's like, "Yeah, just leave it there. I'll take care of it." And I'm like, "All right." I go back the next day. It's sitting in like a vat of oil, like a Tupperware container of oil, completely taken apart, like all the circuit boards everywhere. And I'm like, "What the fuck, man?" And he's like, "Don't worry about it. It'll be fine." And he's like, "Come back tomorrow." Came back tomorrow, completely reassembled, working like a charm.
Call your Campbell Soup guy.
I don't remember his name.
You're supposed to go find it.
I don't have Facebook. I don't even know if I was ever Facebook friends with him because I'm so old that Facebook wasn't around when I was in prep school.
No shit.
Yeah, it was only
It was probably around, but
like we got it
Harvard
halfway
specific.
through like my first semester at Lake Forest. Like when I started college,
you are fucking old.
Yeah, well, it was 2000. That was 2005. It was still like spreading around the country at that point. So, and no high school kids had it the year before when I was in prep school. So,
That's pretty crazy.
yeah,
What
his name's not Campbell either.
did we find out his name?
That kind of bothers me.
That he's not a Campbell?
How are you supposed to be an heir if your last name's not the name?
Yeah, you got
I'll
to change
ha-
your name, right? to
Yeah.
have
Campbell?
to.
Well,
I
he
feel
could,
like.
but like if he's on the other side of the family or something.
Yeah. Where do you think you could go like professional in soup making, Dave? You make soup sometimes, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
soup's the easiest to just.
Do you
throw
think
in.
your soup is good?
is Campbell?
Well, probably not. Campbell is.
I would say his soup's probably
Yeah.
better than
But
Campbell's.
Campbell's. But what I'm saying is, here's my philosophy on that.
You mean a
Campbell's-
99-cent can?
Campbell's
yes.
Campbell's original recipe had to be light years better than anything on the market.
Like Grandma Campbell who
Correct.
made it.
I always say that.
I feel like this is packaging and marketing, and that's about it.
Sometimes, but the way
Andy
I see it,
Warhol.
where like, okay, McDonald's was first of the game, right? Everyone knows that story. Ray Kroc, he was
Yeah.
the first guy to like revolutionize. Well, he took it from the guys in San
Stole it,
Bernardino, but they revolutionized like, hey, we're gonna fucking crank out burgers, and it's
Like
just
an
gonna
assembly
be,
line.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. They made that. However, like KFC, like they had to just master chicken making for it to be good.
Well, that's still
Chipotle.
Like, that's still
You've seen the story of
It was
Chipotle.
McDonald's,
I don't think I
wasn't
know
it?
the story of Chipotle.
Chipotle, the guy, he was somewhere in Colorado, and it was just like a one-stop shop, and then he just expanded because everyone loved this place,
Damn.
and that's what it is. So that's my
I
point.
thought they were owned by McDonald's.
They were
forever.
at one point, but I don't
McDonald's
think they are
did buy them,
anymore.
but they're out. They're
Yeah.
out. But that's my point where, like, at one point, Campbell's was probably pretty fucking good.
Well, the KFC thing is like, I think that recipe for the spices is still like in Fort Knox. Like, it's still proprietary.
Really?
Like, nobody knows exactly like the proportions of the different things to make the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
This is the old Chipotle.
That's
Yeah.
the original Chipotle.
See? It's in somewhere in Colorado, University of Colorado, maybe? The Buffaloes, Deion Sanders.
Boulder.
Yeah. See? This is what I mean. And it was just so good. It had a cult following that it just took off.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I don't think that's.
I think that's the case for most of the chains.
Do you think
dude.
that's? But that's chains versus fucking canned soup.
But my point is, at one point, Campbell's was not a canned soup. At one point, it was just like, hey, you make fucking really good soup. You should can that. Do you get my point?
I get your point.
That's what I mean. Now, of course, Dave could fucking tinker and enhance or whatever, and he could find a way to make a better soup than a canned Campbell's. But the original Campbell's, he doesn't touch, I'm sure. That's my point.
I mean, the company was founded in 1869.
Well, I don't know. They probably didn't even have any spices on the market back then.
Seriously.
I thought spices were like a form of currency back then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe. I'm
but it
just
was
fucking
founded
around.
by a guy named Joseph Campbell. So Joseph A. Campbell, a fruit merchant from Bridgeton, New Jersey. So, yeah, I mean,
Is what I'm saying makes sense to you, Danny?
Yeah. There's a term for it. Like, I don't know it right now, and I'm not gonna look it up. But
What's the chat say?
Oh, what's this? Stat boy, come on.
the chat is calling. You're saying someone laid the foundation for how to make a great
Correct.
soup, and now it's much easier for everyone
Correct.
else.
Like, haven't you ever had like someone's pasta sauce or someone's cookies, and they're like, "Oh, you
Yeah.
should make this."
Right,
Like,
like
that's
there might be no Chips Ahoy without Famous Amos.
all right, but here's another problem with this theory, though. Campbell Soup didn't really start growing as a company until 1953.
I would have guessed the 50s, yeah.
So
When,
that
like,
was
mass
after
production-
exactly.
Yeah.
So it was
It was
one of these
100 years, yeah.
Yeah. So I think if I went back to 1869 and tried that soup, I'd be like, this soup sucks.
But like every franchise, you think so?
Soup's the
Yeah.
easiest thing on earth to make, by the way.
But I'm saying,
I would put my soup up against the founder of Campbell Soup, 100%.
I don't know.
My
I mean, if
tomato
we get a
soup
fucking time
specifically.
machine, I guess we're gonna have
Yeah,
to go back.
put that in the
and-
next challenge.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna have to see who could make a better soup than the Campbell soup.
What was Chief's smell again?
Mirepoix.
Mirepoix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's chicken noodle.
Mirepoix. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I had another point on this when it comes to a restaurant, but I don't know.
Get the Don piece on the phone.
The what?
The Don
Dante the
piece.
Don.
Oh, yeah.
John
There's
Boy.
a question related to the restaurant industry. Yeah, I don't know how this came to be, but I fucked up my computer, so I gotta go to the Apple Store later on.
Yeah, it's tough.
It was as soon as I did it, I just closed it. I obviously had
It's
put
an
it
accident.
upside down and gave it a little shake piece, but
Put it in rice.
I don't have rice. I'm in ketosis.
We just got these too.
Yeah.
Not
You know,
just
that-
got
it
these.
just
They're over
happened.
a year old.
It just happened to me the other day.
Oh,
But
really?
my computer survived.
Salvaged. What'd you do?
It
I was watching the Ranger game and I spilled like half a beer on my laptop.
Oh,
I
you're
have
excited about
I
something?
have to stream. I have to always have to stream on everything on my laptop. Yeah, it was when.
I mean, it's like on, but the screen's not working. So
It's a dead screen. It's tough.
I just flipped it upside down and
It's
put
on
a
me.
towel under it, and it worked. But it might be too late for you.
yeah, it's much too late for me.
Are you worried about what Pete's gonna say?
No, I'm not worried about what Pete's gonna say.
Pete, it was an accident.
I mean,
Just make something up. He doesn't listen to this.
no, I know he doesn't.
There's no
I'm not
way.
gonna make anything up though, because it's on
Accidents
me.
happen.
It's on me.
Yeah.
Your last computer broke too, though, right?
No,
I could have swore you always had problems. Or
the battery was dog shit, so I got the battery replaced in the old one, but it worked.
gotcha. But yeah, I think that's. I hope you get it figured out, Dave.
Thank you, Edward.
ChevyDriveChicago.com. You guys all saw your favorite Chevys last month at the auto show. Now it's time to drive a new Chevy home. ChevyDriveChicago.com makes it easier for you to shop the showroom and see every detail on every model. You can also build and price your dream ride and find your local dealer with a simple click. Shop, click, and drive at ChevyDriveChicago.com today. We saw the whole fleet at the auto show. It was pretty sweet, actually.
Dude, those Blazers are nice. The Suburban, my mom used to have one of those back when she had a million kids in the house. You forget how like impressive those things are.
Yeah.
They're huge. They're
like
nice.
tanks.
Like you own the road if you're driving a Chevy Suburban.
But you don't even need that big. The Equinox was very
That's nice
nice too,
too.
and had a
Yeah.
lot of room, spacious. Like I had a ton of leg room.
I
which
wish I
know.
could be a truck guy because I would have one so fast. And those trucks that Chevy have are just sweet.
Silverados.
Yeah.
They are nice. They catch my eye constantly now too.
Yep.
Like now that we're doing work with them and like seeing it up close to the auto show,
It's
I would
also-
highly recommend people go check those
If
out.
we ever did like a logo draft, like an iconic logo draft, Chevy is
up there.
up there for
sure.
sure. And it's like a simple, but it's like, that's Chevy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. So
I
yeah,
used to love their commercials with Bob Seger.
good commercials. Head to ChevyDriveChicago.com to learn more today. What else is going on, Dave? How are you feeling besides this?
I am a little sore.
Are you
From the kicking?
What else would it be from?
I don't know.
Oh, you used to run marathons. Maybe you're training again.
Maybe you're
I'm not. I'm definitely not.
getting some raw dog. in
But
there.
like, what hurts? That's what all of it.
No. Mostly my quads.
Quads.
Yeah, I don't know why, or just my right. It's not like you could tell I did something physical for the first time in a minute yesterday. It's not like, oh my god, I worked out so hard yesterday, but it's there.
I think Hannah took the picture, but when you connected and your follow through, I hate to like give you a compliment. You looked athletic as fuck.
I am athletic as fuck.
Good follow through. Like it was good form.
It honestly,
When you
it
wanna-
wasn't because my toe was pointed up instead of being flat with my shin.
You could play it if you want. If you want to play it for the YouTube audience, that's fine with me. Roll to it now.
Yeah, the old PATs were just like
was
that's
the-
when you got up to take a piss because no one
Yeah.
ever missed. But now it's like it's
It's 30 yards instead of 20, what it was before, and
how many could you make?
out of 10?
Yeah.
I think anybody in this room would make at least 5. I don't know if I'd miss personally.
That sounds like a good White Sox Dave
That's-
challenge. Let's set the line though, realistically. 8.5, or you think you go 10 for 10?
I think I could probably go 10 for 10.
Wind.
All right, it's bear weather. It's whipping off the lake.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say this is fair weather.
Robbie Gold wouldn't even notice that the wind was blowing today.
We'll set the line at 8.5. So do you think it'll go over 8.5?
Yeah.
It's from the tenant, so it's the old school one, just so you know.
College rule.
College rule.
Yeah.
I think he does 7 out of 10. That's my prediction.
But
First of all, Hannah, go deep.
no, Hannah's
Run.
No,
Hannah, run.
Hannah.
Hannah, run.
Well, Hannah's got to
Run. Run. Not backpedal, run. She's fired. Good? I mean, this is going to be no contest.
That's 1-1.
What's that good from, Ed?
How'd you feel though?
I didn't even try. Cool. 2-2.
Fucking easy.
Bad hole.
Bad hold. Harry, run that back. That was not a bad hold.
What happened there?
I just rushed it.
Right at Hannah. Get it?
So he's got to go 6 straight here.
Catch it!
How long until she starts adjusting to where I'm kicking it? And I'm pretty sure, now that I think about it, they only kick 15 yards because this is not an extra point. This is a 20-yard field goal. I feel like they go, but I'm not saying, I think we fucked that up.
I mean, he's good. He's doing well, but like I said, it's not about if you could do it. It's about if you have the wherewithal to go 9 out of 10.
I'm rushing this one. Ah! I kicked it.
Lost the challenge? Why would you say you're rushing?
Because I want to make it more realistic.
Moving the goalposts. About the goalposts.
Catch one. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
How you feeling?
Fine.
If I battened down the hatches, I could have gone 10 out of 10.
Why wouldn't you though?
Why wouldn't you?
Because
back
it
down?
was, I don't know, I wanted to make it as realistic as possible.
Dave doesn't want to show off his super athleticism. He wants to make it as realistic as possible.
How'd you think you did?
About what I expected. Very physically capable of it. Mentally lacked focus. It's like starting his life.
All right, White Sox Dave challenge number 3. Dave, you came up just short. How do you feel about it?
It's super fucking annoying. He was a dog shit holder. You couldn't even begin to snap. We were supposed to have it like be an actual snap hold kick, and he quit halfway through because he couldn't snap. Chief
I thought it'd be better for you.
He was horrible at holding.
Well, the
So as far as I'm concerned, I win this one. But if they wanna, they can have their little victory here.
I can tell what the people online are going to say already. Like,
What?
it's going to be like physically he can do it, but mentally he didn't have the focus to get it done. What do you say to those people?
I wasn't a kicker. I'm just naturally gifted at it, kinda.
I mean, you did well. You just fell below the number.
Yeah, sure.
So
I win. I win.
You did.
You
guys
did.
There's no way.
I don't like that in your head right now. You're like, I did it. You didn't do it.
2-1. 2-1.
I'll get the next one.
2-1. White Sox Dave, his first loss in the challenge. First one he beat Nadeau in the style off. Second one he beat Nadeau in the runoff. So we'll see what happens in challenge number 4. White Sox Dave. That's what it came down to. You're right. He just stopped focusing.
Yeah.
Because he had it. Like once you could accomplish the feat, like you're like, all right, I did it. But it's not about that. It's about consistently doing it over again. So he came up short in that, but he's a pretty fucking good kicker. I give him credit. That's all there is to it. White Sox Dave challenge number 3 over.
Bomb it. This is a 35-yarder. For the win. He doinked it and it's good.
And in! Unbelievable game
We only
winner!
had him back then. We only had him back
Seriously?
then. Yeah, I took it in.
All right, so there you go. If you watch on YouTube, an added bonus, please subscribe, like, comment, do all the above. And little added features if you want to watch it on YouTube. If not, if you're in the car, if you're on the on the Bobcat, whatever, and you're listening, go check out the video when you get a chance at the Barstool Chicago YouTube page.
I like
hope-
the idea of somebody listening. while
Yeah,
they're on the
I was just
podcast.
about to say that. Yeah, I hope a lot of our
This was the follow through right here.
For sure.
yeah, my toe should be flat.
For sure. Looks good though, Dave.
Yeah,
you did
it looks
well.
good.
You did well. You did well.
That's exactly why I'm not pissed. It's as simple as that.
You were
'cause
happy with 8 out of 10. I mean, 80% is good.
For a bum like me, I think so.
Yeah. What, you're going on vacation this weekend, Chief?
Yeah,
or
I'm
a
going
little
to-
trip? Not
go-
didn't say
yeah.
that?
I don't know what qualifies as a
Yeah,
vacation.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
a vacation needs to be a week.
Yeah, then this is a little weekend getaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Steamboat. I'll be sore when I come back on Monday. Hopefully I don't like break anything. I haven't done anything like actually athletic outside of the Chicklets Cups in years, and it shows. So I'm
I was
hoping
gonna say you looked athletic in that, and when you were holding it,
as a holder.
yeah, your head was down. You had a nice
What is so?
Z in your
I
knees.
was picking those little rubber pellets out of like every crevice of my body.
So is Steamboat? That's just a ski town.
Yeah, that's basically
Okay.
all it is. It's nice. Like they have like I think like the nicest one is I haven't been there is Aspen, but that's what everybody says is like the bougie ones.
It looks so nice.
It does
like
look
the
so
pictures.
nice.
Like I
well,
just
even
see
in
them.
like Dumb and Dumber,
Yeah.
where it's
Yeah.
like,
Sweet, like
fuck,
log
like this
cabins
place
and-
looks unbelievable. But I always felt like what I've told myself, because it is like a little out of reach for me financially, is that I want to be with like the regular people, like the up in Steamboat when I go skiing. Everything is so fucking expensive for that though. Like if like the lift tickets, it's $200 a day. Just to be on the mountain. It's $200 a day. That's before like rentals and flights, and it adds up. But it's like the only thing that I like enjoy doing. Like I genuinely enjoy doing it, so I'm gonna do it. Try to do it once a year, and that's about all I can scrape by with. But yeah, it's gonna be.
I've never
I
gone
love
skiing or
I
snowboarding.
mean, yeah, that's surprising to me for some reason. But
never took cold vacations ever.
never went to Villa Olivia.
There's the one in Lyle, and I know
That-
that's not Villa Olivia.
It's in like Bartlett.
Yeah, that's the one north of me where
Yeah.
I grew up. There was one in Lyle that was like a fucking sledding hill.
Are you
basically.
like, why the fuck are you going to Colorado? Colorado sucks. You hate
no.
Colorado.
If you like skiing and snowboarding, like that's cool.
You go up to
my-
fucking Minocqua, Wisconsin, like 4 times a winter.
For snowmobiling, yeah. But at the same time, but I like to drink at the cottage and like go to the fucking shitty bars. And,
Yes,
and
that
do
sounds
pull
awesome.
tabs. Like that's what I like.
Have you ever done?
And
Have you ever
pay
seen Hot Tub
$2.50
Time
for a
Machine?
Miller? What?
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah, I have, but not like enough to remember what.
First of all, it's a hilariously underrated movie, and I typically fucking hate those kind of movies, as everybody knows. But that movie's laugh out loud funny, start to finish, and that fucking cuntbag Cusack's in it.
Yeah, he is.
Nevertheless, it's like they're in, I think Colorado. I don't know. They're at a ski resort the whole movie, and it just looks fun as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like purposely ambiguous because after I watch it, I'm like, I want to go there.
I think it is. I don't think they ever say in the movie where they are, but
Yeah.
it's a safe assumption it's Colorado.
I think it's like a made up place.
Yeah.
To be clear, I got annoyed at the people who were like sucking Colorado's dick but that's kind of fell to the wayside. I feel Colorado's still beautiful and people still love it and
So
whatever.
you just thought it got overhyped. You didn't like the weed migration.
Like
you
those,
don't
like
the
everyone's like,
stoners
dude,
who are
going to
going-
Colorado, going to Colorado.
Yeah, like,
you know what
but,
I mean?
like-
When the stoner migration happened, Colorado got insufferable.
Yeah.
Some people did. I shouldn't generalize everybody. I shouldn't throw
A lot
them in
of-
a box. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
a lot of people
But
walk around.
Generalize away. Come on.
I just
You
know.
don't like
ball
people who
sack.
walk around with orange beanies. Like you've made that very clear.
But you get what I'm saying.
So you
And
hate-
especially it was
you-
very
you're
common.
a hipster, basically.
Common here in Chicago. Like I remember. Danny, how many people did you know that was like, I'm out. I'm going to Colorado.
This isn't a
It became
stat check. Don't ask
lifestyle.
Danny.
It became a lifestyle, yes.
Yes, it became a personality trait.
Yeah.
Like moving to Rado, bro. Like it's gonna be sick. Gonna get trippy with the boys.
Well,
Gonna
I
smoke
also
fucking
feel like
dank nugs.
it was like it was a gold rush for a minute too. Like all the
Yeah.
people who are like, "Well, it's the only thing I like." Well, weed. I'm going to move to Colorado and become a millionaire, and then
Yes.
and then all those people have moved back.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I'm gonna get a fucking job at a weed shop. I'm gonna be selling soda pop weed.
Yeah.
It's gonna be sick.
Well, I told you about like one of those job offers I had right before Dave offered us full time was to be like the head of operations for a weed manufacturing company. And I was going through the interview, and I'm like, I love 3G now, but I'm not historically like a weed guy at all. So I remember like going through the interview, and they're like, well, what's like your experience with weed? I'm like, basically none. Like I'm kind of a square. And they're like, perfect, you're hired. Because it's like everyone else who was applying was just trying to make like their lifestyle into their career.
Yes.
Where I'm like, I don't know shit, but I can look at an Excel sheet and figure out how to run this factory more efficiently. And that was, but they loved the fact that I didn't smoke weed because every single candidate in that industry
Potheads
is
are the
just
worst.
a pothead. Yeah.
I hate potheads.
And the guys who were
I've
like,
actually drafted that before, I think.
I think you have too.
did,
And the
yeah.
guys who were funding that that company, they were just like, they weren't weed guys at all. They were just like money guys. They made all their money in oil and gas, and then they sold their business for like $600 million. And this was back in 17 when it was like the legalization, or 18 when the legalization was
Booming.
going on. Yeah. So, but yeah, so it's those types of people, like the green rush people going out west to like be a stoner and a ski bum, like they suck. I like to think of myself as like a John Dutton who likes to ski. I'm a Western.
Yeah, I think
rancher
that's
guy.
cool too. There's no one else that does that, and I
That's what
like and I
yeah.
respect and I appreciate like certain cities' cultures and whatnot, and that's their thing. And like I said, it looks beautiful.
It is. It's
But
awesome.
that's the type of Colorado I'm talking about when it's like I don't fuck with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you.
That's like Hannah would have moved to get a job at a
big
weed
time.
shop.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's a lot of people who are like from the West too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
San
it was
Francisco
it was
to-
the market had already been established in California. There's no opportunity there. Let's go to Rado.
Yes,
Yeah.
Rado, going to Rado, baby. But I think that's the thing though too. Like they say, you're if you own a bar, someone who doesn't drink is probably the best manager.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I've never thought of it that way too. I feel like I didn't really believe them when they said that. I feel like in order to do anything, you kind of have to know the product a little bit.
I think a bartender does, right?
Yeah.
Because
If
it's
you're-
like, hey, that whiskey's smoother than this one.
Yeah,
Yada,
you
yada,
got to be able to
yada.
talk to it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I guess that wasn't going to be my job. My job was to be like, this part of the factory is not running as efficiently as it should, and we're going to change this, and this.
Yeah.
So
What are you gonna say, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, you brought up a good point. I think a bartender, bar manager should know like the different whiskey drinks or vodka mixes or tequila, whatever. But with something like that, like Chief said, you're just.
It could have been any product.
It's a
for that
product,
job.
and that is it. It doesn't matter what the product is.
Yeah.
You just look at the most efficient way to sell it.
Yeah.
So.
No, I hear you. Oh, here we are. We're gonna hop into the red line segment. We are joined by former Blackhawk Dylan Strom.
Up and at 'em early. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing this. We appreciate it. So we could hop right in, Chief.
So I'm looking for people who can help me feel better about the Hawks and the Patrick Kane situation. So that's why you're here. So I'm looking for warm and fuzzy stories and kind of talk about your experience while you're in Chicago, because it felt like it was not the best run, wins and losses wise, but you guys are still fun to watch.
Yeah, I think obviously, I think everyone in Chicago knows what he means to the city. I think even in his post last night, you kind of saw what Chicago means to him, and how much he loved playing there. I think when I first got there, I didn't really know what to expect. You kind of hear like Captain Serious, and you kind of hear like some stories about Kaner and things like that, and you see how many cups they've won. You don't really know what to expect when you get there, and then you get there, and Kaner's a little bit more quiet than you would think, and Taser's kind of like joking around a little bit more. And no, they're just good guys. They're good, easy guys to hang around with. They're obviously two amazing players. They've kind of done everything you can do in a hockey career, and they're still just normal guys and like to have fun and like to shoot the shit or tell jokes or prank guys and stuff like that. So I think with Kaner, it's just he's such a talented player, and the Rangers are obviously getting a really good player. It's going to be interesting to see how it works out. And I think, I think if the Blackhawks would have had a chance to, shop him around a little bit, obviously they could have got a little bit more, but, it's kind of the hand they were dealt with. And I think it shows a lot of class on them to kind of send him where he wanted to go.
Did he send you and DeBrincat like group chat, like I miss you guys text during the year?
No, he didn't. I saw one time that he said, I talked to those guys a lot, and I think he said it in an interview that he still talks to Alex and I quite a bit, and he had some fun with us throughout the last couple of years. But it's tough to get too much out of him. He texts us the odd time, but we still keep in touch, and I know he's excited to go to New York.
You want to FaceTime him now?
No, he wouldn't answer.
What was the vibe?
He's got a lot to deal with. He's got a lot to deal with these next couple of days, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's probably chaos. What was the vibe like, though, Dylan?
Packing up a U-Haul?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he ain't doing that, but
I know. Joke. Yeah.
But what was the vibe like, Dylan? Like, because obviously he played for so many. We won 3 Stanley Cups, and the teams that you played on him with obviously weren't the most successful teams. Did you get that hunch, or he was just ready to compete again, ready to be for a winner again, or what was your vibe on that?
It's a good question. I think it's kind of hard to say because I was never there for that part of it. So I just saw him being super intense and super wanting to score and wanting to win, in those times that we weren't the greatest team. So I think it's hard for me to comment on what he was like in those older times, in 2010 to 2015, or even a little bit before that. So for me, it was just, it was impressive to see, even on on an average team, to see what he was like day in and day out. So I always would have wanted to see him, in a playoff setting or in the type of runs that they were having and how successful their team was. He said, I've heard some of the older guys in the team talk about how they kind of just, they knew they were how good of a team they were. They can kind of coast through the regular season and then, really turn around when they got to the playoffs. And, obviously with the team that we had the last couple of years, that we weren't able to do that, but it would have been, nice to see, see all of those guys in their prime in playoff time.
People always make a big deal that they're like, he's so good that he's actually kind of hard to play with because he's like a galaxy brain out there. How long did it take you to kind of feel comfortable as a line mate with him? And was there like a legit adjustment period?
Yeah, there for sure was. It's, it's different because, especially on Erie when I played in junior, everyone was trying to get me the puck and to play with the puck all the time. And then when you get to Chicago, he wants the puck, and he deservedly deserves the puck, and he should have the puck. So to a little bit of a fault, I think I would try to give it up too early and not hold on to it and make some plays myself. But there is definitely an adjustment period. But once you learn and kind of figure out how to play with, and I feel like I have to use my smarts a lot on the ice because my feet aren't the quickest. I'm not the fastest guy, so I think it kind of helped me when I could definitely not get into his brain, but I could kind of think a little bit the way that he thought. just by trying to get open. I knew if I go to the net, the puck's going to land on my stick at some point. So, my finishing was a lot better last year as opposed to previous years, just because I feel like I knew how to get to those areas and kind of, when he was going to pass you the puck, you just had to be ready. It was going to go over a couple sticks, and you got to work on that because, those aren't the easiest to put in. But, when he's passing them, he expects you to put them in. So that's definitely what I learned, like, throughout the couple of years.
How many times did he motherfuck you on the way back to the bench? Countless.
Good question, actually. I think there was definitely times when he did, for sure. I think he's just intense. He wants to win. He wants to be great. But I like to think there was more times where he was like, good fucking play, good play, Stromer, rather than the other way around. So I like to think that. But no, he's an intense guy. He wants you to score. If he's open and you don't get him the puck, he wants the puck, and vice versa. If he passes you that chance in the slot, and you don't score. He wants you to score. So I think it kind of goes both ways. And, lucky for him, DeBrincat scored a lot. And, that was obviously due to his passing as well. But, I think you saw that video the one time of DeBrincat and him in Ottawa, I think it was. DeBrincat said something back to him. And, they kind of just went at it back and forth a little bit. And, I've heard him and Panarin have done that too, where they were kind of hard on each other because they were so good together and like they knew what they could do together. And I think everyone is excited to kind of watch them again in New York.
Yeah, I haven't made up my mind of how I feel about that yet, because part of it's going to be like a little knife twist.
This is exactly what I was talking about.
How
we'll
different?
Talk about that later, though.
How different is playing with him versus playing with Ovechkin in terms of like personality wise?
Yeah, completely. Like personality wise, it's more similar, but on the ice, it's completely polar opposite. I think kind of like what I said before, how Kane wants the puck and always wants it on his stick. I think Ovechkin's in the realm of, when you have it in the offensive zone, then he wants it in the right shooting areas. And I think, so it's totally different in that sense, where like, I kind of had to readjust myself over the past, 4 years to, I was kind of constantly looking for Kane or looking to get rid of the puck right away. And now it's a little bit, it's totally different where, you got to be the one to hold on to it and make the play. So definitely a little bit of adjustment period at the beginning of the year. And, I found some success by, I think I can make plays when I hold on to the puck. So I've been trying to do that a little bit more and use, gaining some speed to the neutral zone and making those plays. So definitely polar opposite, on the ice. But when it comes to, what they expect of their line mates, I think they're pretty similar.
Now, I was talking to Scott Darling about this a while ago, where he's convinced that Ovi does not aim when he shoots. He just fucking cranks it as hard as he can. Do you have a sense of that, or is he like picking corners? He's just like, I'm just shooting 115 miles an hour.
I think it's a good question. I think that's a very good question. I mean, definitely
FaceTime him. Ask him.
He definitely wouldn't answer.
Yeah.
No, when he's taking wrist shots and snapshots, I'm guessing he aims a little bit more. I think when he's taking one-timers on the half wall on the power play there, I think it might be a little bit more of, kind of just, fire it away just because the goalie can't get there quick enough. But, you do see a lot of his one-timer goals go low blocker on that short side. So I think like there's got to be some sort of technique to, to shooting it before the goalie gets there. And that's kind of the spot he tries to get to, I think, just inside the post. And, I don't even know how many goals he scored like that, but I'm guessing it's upwards of like 150 to 200 that are kind of in that same spot. So I think he does aim a little bit, but I think there's definitely shots when he just shoots as hard as he can.
And do you have to aim? Like,
I definitely have to aim. Yeah, but I only get like one or two, like 2 or 3 shots a game, like 1 to 3 shots a game. So it's kind of like, it's kind of a bit of both. Like if you have the time and the if you have the time in the slot and you get a chance to aim, I think, I think it can be pretty accurate. But at the same time, if you get the puck in the slot and there's a couple guys around you, you're just trying to get it on net. You want that chance for it to go in.
Yeah, I actually was talking about your passes to him. Like, does he have a spot like, I want it on my front foot? I want it like where, like, and if you don't get it there, is he like, what the fuck, man? Like, I gotta have this here.
No, not too much like that. I think just kind of like, if he's standing there kind of legs open and stick ready to go, I think just put it anywhere in the realm. I think he's that good of a goal scorer that he has no problem putting it in when it's in a bad spot. I think he's had a few this year where guys have put it off sticks and landed in his skates, and he's kind of kicked it up to his skates and then pulled and fired it, and it's been like there's not many guys in the league, maybe like 3 or 4 that can do that, and he's definitely one of them.
Yeah. Are you giving like little tips and scouting reports about Kane to your teammates now that you guys are in the same division?
I think we actually, I'm trying to think. We do play the Rangers one more time, I think. So maybe when it comes to that, then I'll have to say something. But we got to focus on these next couple games here. We're fighting for our lives here in the playoff spot. So when it gets to the Rangers time, maybe I'll give him a few tips.
A little chirps to say, get under his skin a little bit. Did you have something that you would do to like get under his skin, either on the ice, off the ice, just to bother him for fun?
We were a pretty close team in Chicago. We had a lot of younger guys that we were all kind of friends with. Like I had known Entwistle for almost my whole life. DeBrincat I played with for a long time. We got close with Hagel just because we're all kind of in the same age. Taylor Radish we ended up playing with for a while. So I think we were, and then DeBrincat and I were also friends with Kane. So I think it kind of brought Kane into that that core of like the younger guys a little bit too. And so, whenever obviously your hockey buddies, you're kind of just in the room, there's for sure chirps and stuff going on. I think, we'd always chirp, Kaner because he walks a little slower than everyone else. So I think Entwistle would call him like
those
slow
people
ball.
are the worst. Those people are the worst.
So you kind of just like, putz around in the dressing room and kind of just, I think it was cool because we got to that point where we were close enough buddies with him that we could do that. If you would have told me that, 5 or 6 years ago, everyone would probably called you crazy. But no, he's a really easy guy to hang out with and a good guy to have on your team. The Rangers are a lucky team.
You mentioned Hagel. You mentioned DeBrincat yourself. Doc left via trade. Now it's Lafferty, McCabe, Kane. If they had run it back with that same team, do you think you're a wild card team, or do you think you're a playoff team in the West if they brought back all those core pieces? Because I feel like last year was such a disaster in every way with the scandal, the coaching firing, and all that. But like, I don't think the nucleus of that team was as bad as the record was. So, is there a piece of you that wishes that you had another crack with that group?
I think for sure. I think just looking at kind of what everyone did this year, I think it's like, how can you not like just at least let that run through your mind a little bit? I think, the Hagel one was kind of the first like domino to fall. I guess I remember we were just left practice rink and we were going to the plane and someone texted me saying Hagel's traded, and I was like, you could kind of heard rumblings before about like we were going to do a rebuild, and then once he got traded, it was kind of like, oh Jesus, like this is for real. And obviously with the price they got for him, they got 2 good players, or 2 roster players, 2 first round picks, I think, and a second round pick or something like that, something crazy where it was just a lot of picks and players for a guy that's had 1.5 good years. And he didn't really take off in Tampa last year, but this year I think he has like 50 points already.
Yeah,
so
he's having a big year.
I think when you put all, like, if you just look at points wise, strictly on points wise, what guys have this year, and you put them on the same team, I mean, I think that's a lot of goals for one team. That's a lot of wins. And I think and I'd like to think Kaner's numbers would be a bit better if they had myself and DeBrincat playing with him still.
1,000%. Yeah.
And so when you add that all into the mix, and I think I definitely think that there was potential there, but that's kind of the direction they chose, and obviously they're going for the first pick this year, and they're trying to get that. So they had a plan and they stuck with it. So
yeah, and moving on worked out for you. You got paid. You're rich as fuck now. How's that going for you?
Yeah, it was nice to get offered a contract. It was kind of just nice to I've only been on a 2-year. It was my longest contract.
Yeah, you can buy a house now.
So, yeah, that's true. I got one. I got one at home, so that's nice.
Have you made any fuck you purchases yet?
No, I haven't.
Anything on the list?
Good question. No, not really yet. I actually, maybe a golf simulator is one that I've been looking at. So like maybe like figuring something out for my basement, I think is one thing that I've been really thinking about, because it gets pretty cold in the winter. Not too cold, but cold enough where you can't play golf outside. So I think it would be something fun to do if I got the guys over and figured that out. Seabrook had one in his basement, which was awesome. So I'd like to get one of those.
I think that's a good plan.
That's a good one. Anything you got, Rangers? Tom, we got a Rangers fan in our office. I don't know. You got anything about Kane you want to ask?
No, I wanted to see if he wanted to elaborate on how he think he would fit on the Rangers for the rest of the season now.
Kane, what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's. I think everyone wants to know that. I'm excited too. I definitely know I'm going to be watching that game against Ottawa on Thursday night. I think, you know, whenever we went to MSG, he would always like, you know, I mean, he's Showtime. Like you've seen the goals he scores when he like goes like this and does the Showtime, like, and then he's like, oh, how cool would it be to play for the Rangers? And then, you know,
he said that.
Oh man,
he fucking said that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, I think it just any most hockey players would think. I mean, if you're going into MSG, I think a lot of players would think it's pretty cool to play for the Rangers.
Oh no,
that hurt.
I think it's gonna.
The Mecca.
No, it's not the Mecca. No.
He's just trying to trigger me. Like somebody put out a video that was clearly a joke in hindsight that I like fucking snapped. Like I've never been this sensitive. I'm getting triggered left and right online about this Patrick Kane breakup.
I've seen your tweets. I follow you on Twitter, of course. But if you think about it, though, isn't this better for you if it's what you want as the first overall pick? If it means less wins, if Kane's on the team.
If it was like the NFL, where it's like if you have the worst record, you automatically get it.
True.
But the lottery thing makes me like you give up this guy, and it's like you had a 25% chance. It's like I don't know.
You want to know a little fact about the draft lottery? There's been 27 draft lotteries, and how many times do you think the last team has picked first? Like the worst team has picked first. Do you know the number?
I'm gonna say 25%.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like the number. I feel
7.
Chief got it.
10 on the dot.
Oh, so it's better than the odds play.
I don't love that though. I don't love that, and I think they might have switched the numbers around a little bit.
They have been doing it. They have been like switching it like around. Like, I think one time it was like 40%, then sometimes it's 25%. But
so you really are like a hockey nerd, like the rest of us, then.
yeah, definitely.
Well, that's a good question. I think. Listen, you were in a draft where I would say a little similar to this year, where like you know. McDavid and Eichel were 1 and 2.
And then our guy Dylan Strome, 3.
Yeah, exactly. You were 3. And then obviously Bedard and Fantilli are 1, 2. What's that like for the guys in like the 3-4 range where we might ultimately end up? Is it weird like knowing there's like 2 horses on the top of that draft? Or what was that situation like?
You're a stud, but no one's really talking about you?
Yeah.
It was definitely it was interesting. I think it was even more interesting because I was like on the same team as McDavid. So it was kind of like everything that was happening with him, it was kind of like we were doing the same thing. Obviously, he was getting a little bit more of the spotlight, but I was kind of, I was kind of there with him doing everything. Like we went to the draft lottery together in Toronto. We between playoff rounds, we took like a card down there, and his whole family was there. And I think there's a reason why they haven't ever done that again. I think you haven't seen much of that where they're talking to like Eichel didn't even go. It was me, McDavid, and Hannafin. And it was, when they just found out Edmonton was going to be first. I think, those 2 guys were 1 and 2, obviously the entire year. And I think like this draft, it's kind of been, Bedard and Fantilli, like 1 and 2 all year. But when you're in that 3 spot, that's where everyone kind of said that's where the draft kind of started. And that's kind of where, things could go differently. And obviously when they said Erie Otters and they said Dylan Strome, I was obviously, super excited at that time. You work so hard to just, get drafted as high as you possibly can. And it's not really like the NFL where each pick means like more and more money. It's kind of pretty standard across the board for the NHL. So, you're hoping to go to a good situation, a good spot, and you're hoping to go as high as you can at that point. I think that's kind of what I was hoping for at least.
So when you don't even have to answer this, but you were excited when Arizona called your name.
Well, I was excited because it was a lot of the whole thing was like after McDavid and Eichel, it was kind of like who's going to go next, Marner, Strome, or Hannafin. And I think that's kind of why I was excited. And then being from Toronto, you kind of see the pressure that gets put on there for guys. Yeah. And, I think there would have been a lot of pressure if I got drafted to Toronto. I think, maybe it would have been better for me. I'm not sure. We'll never know. But, I think I'm pretty happy with the way everything worked out. And hopefully I can get a Stanley Cup at some point in my career. That's obviously the dream for everyone. But at the time, for sure, I was definitely, extremely happy just because, like I said, the draft kind of everyone was talking about how it started then. Mm-hmm. And to be the kind of the first pick after those 2 guys, that's something that I was working towards. And I got it.
It is kind of crazy that you're going to have significant ice time in your career with arguably like 3 of the greatest offensive players who ever lived, with McDavid and Jr., Kane, and now Ovi. No offense, you should have like 700 more points.
He meant a lot of offense with that.
I've only played 300 and something games, so I'm working on it. I'm working on getting up there. But no, I think it definitely is crazy. I mean, Yeah, I mean, when you look back at the history of the NHL, you know, those three guys are, you know, I don't know what you would say, maybe top 10, three of the top 10, maybe top 15 of all time. So
I mean, if you get some time with Crosby, then it's like you hit the Mount Rushmore of this generation for offensive players.
that would be something. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm obviously, happy in Washington and really happy to have 5 more years there. And I know Washington really doesn't like Pittsburgh, and I don't think Pittsburgh liked Washington very much. So hopefully I get a couple playoff series against those guys. I know they've had their battles in the past, but I'm looking forward to what's to come in the future.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks, Dylan. This was great. This was a fun interview.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. And I do follow the Chicago Barstool boys on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. So I love the stuff you guys do and keep it up.
Appreciate that.
Oh, I'm really glad we had you on.
Yeah.
A little compliment at the end. All right. Well, enjoy California. Have a nice road trip.
Thanks. I appreciate it, guys. See you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, man.
Later, brother. That made me feel good right there.
I mean, listen, compliment aside, that was a very good interview because he was so open and he follows shit.
Yeah.
Like he was he was up top on the lottery odds. He was up top on the top 2 prospects. Like
There's a lot of guys that I've come across in professional sports that I've gotten to know on either small or larger personal level that just don't follow the game.
Yeah. And I think that was part of, at least in part of one of the reasons why they brought in Strome was because, the Hawks brought in Strome, because he and Kane and DeBrincat are all kind of like that. Like they're all like, Kane knows every fucking thing about every player in the league. And, there were guys, I would say some of the guys that they moved out at, like a Nick Schmaltz, he's not really like that. He's like a talent. He's kind of like, he's more, I don't want to say more concerned about being a scratch golfer, but he's like a guy who's not as obsessed with the game as Strome, Kane, DeBrincat. Like so. That wasn't that surprising that he was so dialed.
No,
he loves hockey.
I was very impressed. Like that. Like listen, that compliment aside, I'm not kidding. Like he was very honest and open about Kane.
Yep.
And like he was saying stuff that you even wouldn't. Well, yeah, they could have got the return, and like maybe people weren't happy. Like he knew like shit.
He knows the dialogue.
A lot of people like are not in tune with that, or they like give athlete answers.
Yeah.
And he did not do that. So I would love to have him on again. That was great.
I think hockey players are my favorite type of athlete. Pro athlete, definitely.
Yeah. Well, it's like in that, like, I feel like when they're with like the traditional media, they're very buttoned up. It's like, oh, we got to work hard. We got to get pucks in. They just say like all the cliche, like kind of like all the cliche things. And then they go out and churn out their article. But if you can get them to, like he's just like one of the boys. So if you that was a perfect interview for him.
Is the Strome on New York? Are they related?
They're brothers, but he plays for Anaheim now. So they're actually playing against. I think they're playing against each other tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was gonna say that would have been.
That'd have been so awesome to play your brother in something and just wail away on him. Just wail away on him.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
You don't got a brother, right?
No.
Yeah.
I do not.
And yours is way younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was still fun to beat the shit out of them.
Yeah. Hey, the Barstool Sportsbook. Barstool exclusives, picks, and parlays from Big Cat, Alprez, and other personalities to follow or fade. There's tons of way to bet. There's daily odds boosts. There's live in-game bets, move the line plus teasers, and Parlay Plus to bet within same games or across sports. It's easy to navigate and use. Data and content keep you informed. It's easy and secure registration, and there's a lot of ways to deposit and withdrawal. Download today and use code RED to create an account. $1,000 new player bonus. If your first bet loses, get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I got a future on the Rangers in the Barstool Sportsbook.
Do you?
2 of them, right?
2 of them, yeah. So
can you look those up again for me?
Yeah, what the odds are right now. So yesterday it was plus 1,300.
So they got Tarasenko, Fox, Kane. I feel like this team, and obviously I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about with hockey or anything else, but this team seems like it should be a fucking wagon.
Yeah. No, they like people were talking about like I saw like a.
Did you say Panarin, Dave?
Panarin.
Yeah, I saw a graphic about like all our power play one, and it had Tarasenko on there. I don't think Tarasenko is good enough to be on that power play one. I really like
that's insane.
It's preposterous. It really is because it's going to be Panarin if they run that. Tom, they do that 1-3-1 with like a guy up top and then Do you know what I'm talking about or no?
Yeah, no, you were talking about this with me before. I'm like,
You don't know.
I don't know. Like, I never played the game, so it's like shit like that. I'm like, well,
Yeah, all right,
I
well-
just know who's on the ice, and it's usually that front three that you tweeted. Like, it's usually Kreider, Mika, Panarin, Fox,
and then a wing,
yeah,
which will now be Patrick Kane.
right.
So, I mean, and it's you're gonna have instant like, I think the Fox Kane Panarin thing. Fox is, like I said it yesterday, like he's fucking insane to watch play the way he sees the game. So those three guys and the other two guys are going to be kind of in the middle and in front of the net, while the other ones just play like globetrotters around the outside. They're going to bang in a fuck ton of goals on that power play.
Those are Fox, Kane, and Panarin are like three Harlem Globetrotters on the ice.
Yeah, and they're all super smart, and they like that was like what Strome was talking about, where it's like it took him a while, but Strome's also like a very smart player, cerebral player. Well, Fox is like that too, so it's gonna be very fun to watch.
But it might take a minute.
Well, you would think it wouldn't, because he's gonna
Kane,
fall into place with Panarin. It's just gonna
yeah.
hey, Mika, just skate down the middle of the ice and don't get the puck when we shoot and miss wide.
Do you where are you at now as far as Kane in general? Now that you've had like 24 hours to let it marinate, are you more understanding? Are you still just as angry? You said you're still triggered, but you have had a chance to sleep on it now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to go. I tried to go the whole day without getting triggered. It lasts about 10 minutes, and it's tough. It's
Wow.
like what
That fucking coming home video that Rangers fan made was infuriating.
Yeah, it was.
To like
It
Kanye
was. No,
Yeah.
coming home.
Yes.
Oh
All right,
man.
so you. Oh Jesus!
Can you
You
play that?
fucking losers. He's
You
gonna
guys
play
are
what,
fucking
30 games
idiots.
for you?
You guys
Yeah,
are
so it
idiots.
was a-
You
it
guys
was
are-
a-
Did you watch the
It
video?
was a spoof. Well,
Did you
I
watch
can't
the fucking
remember
video?
that it was
yeah,
a
it was
Carmelo
from Mello.
Anthony.
Yeah, what do we care?
Watch the video. You watch the video and specifically on screen, and tell me you think this is real and that New Yorkers
No,
are dumb idiots.
no.
Look at the quote. I was born in. You think Patrick Kane said I was born in
Well,
New
he
York?
was born
He
in
was
New York.
born in New York. Yeah,
He was born in Buffalo, New York.
Oh my
They don't
God.
identify with that New York.
But
That's
still,
not the same.
Still,
this is infuriating.
I mean, but like the timeline, I want to be Mark Messier. Like so did I. Like I loved Mark Messier.
Look, there's the Barstool office.
Yeah, like it drove me fucking crazy. And I understood, like I got it like after the fact, but like I don't even that image. It just looked the Photoshop. Just
All right, I
looked
guess
wrong.
for you, Eddie and Dave, that's entirely a fake video of the Carmelo Anthony coming home video.
But
But he
Tom,
still made
even if
it.
it's a fan made video, makes me mad. I didn't think the Rangers made.
Yeah,
that.
I didn't think that either. I
Yeah.
thought it was
No,
that guy.
but even the fan is joking like it's.
I get that now, but I'm a little sensitive right now, Tom, and I don't want to see videos like that. And it did trigger me.
And it's just
and it was like it's almost like the perfect troll because Ranger fans
know,
absolutely think that they're
There's
like
a
the center of the
modicum-
universe.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
That's
it's
New
like-
York
it's
fans in general.
believable.
Because
No,
Tom,
there's
get
a
out of here.
There's a
You know how many
contingent-
times in my life I've heard, not even with White Sox players, with baseball players in general, can't wait to get this guy in pinstripes. That's like baked into
Yeah.
New York
Everything
fans'
back to the
brain.
Yankees.
They're getting
It's like-
LeBron.
I'm
they're
saying
getting,
New York fans.
Yeah.
It's baked into their brains that just why would they go to Chicago
Right.
when they can play in New York? It's like,
Do we-
well, there's a lot of reasons.
Well, there's actually some truth to it too. You want to play back that interview
Exactly.
we just had that Dylan Strome just said that
Exactly
people like
my
Patrick
point.
Kane are walking around being like, it'd be so cool to play for New York and the Rangers.
Most hockey players would think. I mean, if you're going into MSG, I think a lot of players would think it's pretty cool to play for the Rangers.
Oh no, I didn't like that.
I didn't
Yeah,
like that either.
Exactly. Kind of just proves the exact
Tom,
point.
Tom,
you're
hold
making,
on, though.
that
You're telling
sometimes
me-
it's actually right.
Tom, you're genuinely telling me that there's no contingent of New York fan that would have made that seriously.
Oh, they're
Taking
This is
quotes
the
from
argument that
Buffalo, New
Chief
York.
uses. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe some people like are crazy New York sports fans, just like there are in any fan base on
Totally.
like that have loudmouth fans, just
Agreed.
like anyone. I don't know why. Like New York has them, but so does Philly and so does Boston and so
Totally,
does Chicago.
totally. So here I think is, and there's been plenty
But
of
when
like
Philly does it, it's
the
like
other
endearing.
cities
No,
don't really
it's
have
not
a sense of
endearing.
entitlement like
Boston does.
Boston definitely does
Philly
because of the
does.
last 20 years. And
Philly,
Philly
Philly thought they won the Super Bowl before the Super Bowl even started.
Here's what I would say, Tom. I do think that New York just culturally has a disproportionate amount of loudmouth people. I think, and because the city is so much bigger, there's going to be more of them. So it is like an onslaught. It's like more. It is like if Kane got traded, and this is what I was saying. I hope he goes to Carolina because I'll never hear from fucking anybody. And that got into Carolina Twitter. They did not like that. But like
4 of them though.
Yeah, it
Exactly.
lasted for like an hour where they were like, "Yeah, you suck."
That's
What?
elitist, Dave. I don't like that.
Come on,
No,
they don't have as many fans. They
Carolina's
just
soft.
don't.
In the playoffs, they don't allow any.
I
They
know.
have to check your zip code to
That's-
buy tickets because they're afraid of.
I know, but
Nashville
you
and
can't be
St. Louis
picking
used to
on
do that
big
too.
bad New York, and I don't know. It was just within the context of the conversation.
Yeah.
But it's just geography at that point. Hockey's not very popular in the South.
Very true.
Yeah, they have good fans down
No,
there.
I'm not saying they
Yeah,
don't. I'm sure
yeah.
they have
In a larger-
awesome diehard fans.
In a larger conversation or a different day, it makes sense. But when we're just shitting on New York, it's kind of tough.
Yeah. But yeah, it was. But I'm not as triggered. To get back to circle back, I think
Sorry.
I still believe in the direction overall of the team, and Kane. They tried to do right by Kane, get him out of there. So I think they're on the. But it just feels like they're now like they don't have anything. Like next year is going to be worse than this year. Like it's. Like it's like how many years are we gonna have to suffer through this? Like they picked third with Doc. They've been in the lottery like 4 years in a row. It's fucking brutal.
Has Doc been any good?
He's been better in Montreal. Yeah.
Would it surprise you if that's a thing where you sit down? It's like, oh, what's your plan to be in your professional life? It's like, I want to be a professional golfer. It's like, what's your backup plan? I don't have one. Would you be surprised if that's where he's at right now? Where it's like, what's your plan? It's like to Bedard.
Oh, Davidson.
What if he's like,
well, like that's the thing.
pushing all in on that.
Yeah, well, they kind of are.
Yeah.
And that's why they. I mean, they didn't
It's
have
not
to.
completely up to them. Which
They
sucks.
didn't have to trade Lafferty or McCabe. Like those are still good players. They didn't get a ton of value, I don't think, for those two guys. But it's like we got to strip this thing down. Like they have guys who are playing now, like big minutes, who are like almost 30, or like late 20s, playing their first NHL game now.
Ooh.
Okay, because it's like, hey, like we're rewarding you. You had a nice AHL career. You work hard. Why don't you come on up for a couple months and help us get Bedard? But I do think if you don't get Bedard or Fantilli, then you go from we're rebuilding in pursuit of a Stanley Cup. But if you don't have a superstar, you can't. And now Kane's out of the equation, and I'm not going to consider him coming back or anything like that. But so now you don't have any superstars. Now it's like your goal is to be like the Winnipeg Jets or the Minnesota Wild, where you're like good every year. You make the playoffs. I'm sure the buildings are full, but there's always going to be.
Question.
These teams don't have it. They don't have like a McKinnon, Makar, Crosby, Kane. Those guys that take them to that next echelon. So they're always going to be like maybe you win a playoff round and then you're out because they don't have a true superstar. Kirill's probably.
Are there
close.
any in the next 2 free agent classes? Are there any superstars that are going to be?
It's hard to say. It would actually be the summer of 25 or 26. There's a lot on paper, like Austin Matthews.
So, but yeah, you can't look at someone like that. And we're going to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
Someone like Austin Matthews, who he's a freak of nature, right?
He's a stud.
He's a stud. He should never wear another uniform.
Well,
if they let him
he's
go, and I know it's
American.
different because of like caps and all that in hockey, but
yeah, it's actually summer of 24. So after next season, Matthews is a UFA. I believe Leon Draisaitl, who's a
that's
stud.
an awesome hockey name, by the way.
He's a German guy.
I've always thought that Draisaitl just is a sweet hockey name.
So he's a very good player. Obviously, he's been playing with. So he's up after 25. So like to answer your question, there will be guys, but like the only reason the Hawks were able to get Hossa when they got him is because
Rookies.
they had signed Brian Campbell. So they had that's kind of like a statement of intent. Okay, and he was a good player, but he was a top free agent. They signed him the year before. They went to the conference finals with Taves, Kane, Keith, Bufflin, Seabrook, Hjalmarsson. Like they had Joel. They had everything that you needed, and then Hossa was like, "You're the last piece of the puzzle."
Yep, I remember when they got him.
If you get Bedard, you can kind of redo that same formula because I really do think that the prospects that they have. I think Korchinski's going to be very good. I think that Frankie Nazar, and I was texting my buddy who works for Michigan Hockey. He's like, "This guy's unbelievable." I'm like, I text him like, "Tell me something to make me feel better about this Kane trade. Like, tell me something nice about Nazar. He's like, he's the most driven kid. He's the best kid. He's unbelievable. Like, he's going to be a star. And so they have like some pieces, but they don't have the franchise, face the franchise cornerstone, lead us through the playoffs type guy. Like, and you're not going to be able to attract people to come here unless you have like the foundation in place, because people want to win.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you convince Leon Draisaitl to leave Connor McDavid?
Right.
How do you convince Austin Matthews to leave Mitch Marner and all those guys? Like, you have to.
Well, I mean, money.
You can't fault him though.
I mean, here's another question. Baseball, like the players union directs players, because there's plenty of guys. Like, for instance, Mark Burley. This is right off the top of my head. Grew up right outside St. Louis. Everybody always thought you can still find Mark Burley in the stands at Cardinals games, because he was just like you are to the Hawks or I am to the White Sox, just a diehard Cardinals fan. Obviously never played for him or anything. Only played for Sox, Blue Jays, Marlins, I think it was. But he didn't take a hometown discount with the White Sox because that would fuck over those behind him that were similar players that would be due free agent deals in the future, if that makes sense. Yeah. So is that something in hockey where it's like, oh, I want to play with him, so I'm going to take $6 million with AAV instead of the $10 million?
That's that. Austin Matthews won't, because he'll still only be like 26 when he gets that deal. Like, it feels like he's been around forever.
It does.
But he'll only be like, he'll get top value. Like, I saw a rumor that he was, because he can start negotiating extension this July 1st. I was hearing like a $15 million, which would be the biggest contract ever, be more than McDavid. So
that's 50% more.
But it's like so like
Kane.
What?
50% more than Taves and Kane.
Yeah, but they signed those deals in 2014.
Yeah, exactly. I know that.
So
yeah, of course.
And that's what I was going to get at. Like, the hockey thing is so different because they do have that hard cap, and so there is some pressure to like, hey, like, we can only give you this. We want you to stay, whatever. Like, they kind of make it work. And then, or it's like, we'll front load it, or like the Stamkos thing, like, he took less, but he signed in Florida, so he gets to keep all of his money. But he was supposed to be the guy that break the Taves and Kane, and he signed for like 8.5. So it depends on. There's so many factors with like the Canadian economy and where money's coming in. This COVID thing, they still have to repay things. So it's complicated. It's like impossible to predict even 2 years out what the cap will be.
Yeah.
So basically, they need to get bare minimum this Fantilli cat.
Yeah. Fantilli's a stud. Like, I will not be upset if they pick second. I'll be like, all right, like, we got a guy, like, let's fucking go. If they pick third, then it starts to be like, well, maybe we should just trade down and get, accumulate more picks.
Yeah. Well, all right, we'll see what happens, man. Patrick Kane's gone.
We're not completely done with this, though. We got to address last week when Chief just heard the name Chris Sale and just...
That was yesterday.
Tuesday.
I meant last episode. Just flew off the fucking handle that I even put the two in the same sentence without letting me finish anything that I was about to say.
Okay, go ahead.
And you said it again to Strom on this interview. When I was watching Chris Sale, he gave me like the only reason to actually enjoy the team that I care about. Okay. Chris Sale was, or Patrick Kane was sort of like that for you. Obviously, the team success, they're not even in the same universe together. Sale was the player on a team that largely underachieved and or flat out sucked. And when I watched him pitch for another team, it still made me sick to my fucking stomach, to the point where I didn't even want to see him be successful out of sheer selfish reasons for me. And I can't imagine what it would be like if he did bring me 3 World Series titles. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, this fan base, they can have it because I already got mine. I'd be like, absolutely fucking not. And that's where I wanted to fucking blow a gasket on the internet at you last night. Because of course the internet hears me say Chris Sale and Patrick Kane are on the same like wavelength, and that's obviously not the case. You didn't let me finish anything. And then, of course, the internet just waterfalls, and they think that, I think Chris Sale and Patrick Kane are the same player, and no.
I don't think that.
That's exactly what you wouldn't even let me finish.
So have I heard you now?
Yeah.
I think that comparison is absurd.
It's not absurd.
It is.
disgusted to watch a player that
Right.
didn't do anything from a team success standpoint play for another team.
Right.
I can't imagine what it would be like if he brought me 3 players. That is all I'm saying.
So here's where I think the disconnect is on this, is that he never did it for you, Sale. They never had any big moments, playoff success. It was all regular season, finishing second in the Cy Young.
I mean, he plays every 5 days.
I understand. Let me get there, okay? It's not the same, because I feel like if Patrick Kane never won it and then he went on and won it with the Rangers, I would want to puke, because it's like you wasted everything. You got your 3. He was here for 16 years. This is what he wanted. I do feel like he's, and I did a Spaces last night too, like the way that he transformed this market. Like, they're going to be cashing checks because of Patrick Kane for 30 years.
Decades, for sure.
Because of all the kids, like the participation rates in hockey.
I saw that
is through the fucking roof.
I saw probably a dozen tweets saying the only reason I put on hockey skates as a 10-year-old is because, I know that.
Of course.
So,
like, there is an element of, well, I did. It's not that it like it's not like I want it for like you guys can have it. It's almost like I kind of like I want it for Kane as a individual, because like that, like I care about him as an athlete. Like I want to see him at the peak of his powers. Like he's incredible. Now, as we go through the run,
even after you just heard Dylan Strome say, "Oh, it'd be sweet to play with the Rangers." I mean, he's not loyal to Chicago any more than the Hawks were loyal to him by not offering him an extension. And
I don't know if they did or didn't. I don't know if they did or didn't. Okay, and I don't know if it got to that point. So now, like, I do feel like you're kind of.
Do you think that they did? Because you're changing your tone big time. Because I
don't think that they did, but I don't know.
So it's a safe assumption.
But it's like, and I
you're
asked
arguing
last
semantics
night,
at that point, and you even said that. So I
would
watched
have liked
the White
to know
Sox.
if they gave him.
I watched the White Sox waste Chris Sale when he was at his peak. He was the best fucking pitcher in baseball.
Time out for a second.
Hold on.
White Sox Dave got you on your back a little bit right now?
10 straight starts with 10 strikeouts or more. It was must-watch TV.
We're talking about Chris
and they
Sale
wasted
his
2023 absolute prime of his career.
Yeah.
You said that and I was disgusted that they did that. That's a pitcher on the Hall of Fame path, and you just wasted that.
Yeah.
Homegrown, drafted him. He was in Major League Baseball like a month after you drafted him, fastest guy of the majors in that
can we
draft
land
class.
the plane on Chris Sale?
I'm landing the plane right now. You said that, and I am sickened me that they wasted that prime.
Yes.
You said yesterday that Patrick Kane was at his best afterwards.
Right.
So they wasted
he
that
had
prime.
like two different
Hall
careers. He had the first 8 years where he had all the team success in the world, and the second, this is why you can't even bring up, like, I don't want to hear Chris Sale in a conversation about Patrick Kane. I explained it to you. I explained it to you
too.
It's different because you don't give a shit, and he never won there. So
I do give a shit. It's the only thing I give a shit about.
You don't understand. You don't appreciate Patrick Kane, so you just don't get it. Like, you don't get it. He's infinitely better than Chris Sale. Way more memories than Chris Sale. Way more of everything.
Of course.
So it's not an apples to apples. You keep trying to make it an apples to apples.
I'm not making it apples to apples. I said that Kane
has
all
it makes
that.
you sick because of your experience with Chris Sale. I'm saying I'm wrestling with it because I've had a different experience, because it's apples and oranges than yours with. So it's like it's not a fair analogy.
Over the last 8 years, since 2015, the Hawks have not won one playoff series, right? And that's when Kane was at his best. Okay, Chris Sale goes to the Red Sox, so it's like reversed almost. Chris Sale goes to the Red Sox. He closed out the World Series for him. They win the trade automatically because that's what they traded for Chris Sale to win a World Series for them. In 2018, that's what happened. Chris Sale at his best was with the White Sox, and they fucked that up. Just like Patrick Kane at his best per you over the last year. And it makes me sick that organizations, especially the organizations that we root for, constantly have to fucking let guys go. Like, we'll go to the north side. Anthony Rizzo, Javi Baez. Obviously, Baez has been bad the last couple of years. But that core guys, they had to let them walk. Those guys should have never worn another uniform. Patrick Kane should have never worn another uniform. Chris Sale should have never worn another uniform. We can go down the list of Bears players that it's been like for that. Roquan Smith, another example. Okay, and I don't want to see my players that I root for, that I saw at their best, go and win for another team, and I don't think you should either. And it fucking drives me crazy. Because you were hesitant, like you were.
No, but it is like a hesitation because like I love watching him play. I love watching him play with Panarin,
and of course there's rooting interest because of the trade. Which whatever, I understand.
I don't even like. I'm such a like let's get this show on the road kind of guy, and I feel like it's all about this top pick anyways. I'm fine with that. If they lose, I'm not really going to be like, oh, I wish we had a first round pick. Like this is a deep draft. It's almost.
I mean, what's the difference between 35 and 29?
Not much.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I jump in real quick?
Please.
I think Dave is making a lot better points today than he was on Tuesday.
I wasn't allowed to make any points Tuesday because it was just they heard Chris Sale and he's like, "Oh, you fucking moron!
Here's my
fucking
takeaway.
moron!" Like how? And then the entire internet. So I just disengage.
Here's my takeaway, Dave. You're making great points, and to White Sox fans, I get it to an extent, okay? But I think the difference. But I think here's
up everything.
Here's the difference, though,
every
Dave.
day.
Here's the difference, though, Dave. I think Kane transcends so much to just the city of Chicago. You get what I'm saying?
That makes it even more disgusting that he's not ending his career with them.
I know, but listen,
we don't know that.
I'm a Sox fan, so Sale means nothing to me.
Yeah.
I like the Hawks. I root for the Blackhawks, but I'm not a diehard Hawks fan. But obviously, this hit me just for Chicago. Like this, the guy is a fucking legend.
The seal was the most fun ever when they went on that.
Yes. What he's like, these fucking bars were fucking elbow to elbow on fucking Tuesday night to watch this kid.
And it was like, well, we better keep the bars open beyond closed because they're in triple overtime against Anaheim or LA. And it was like, we're all out till 3 a.m.
So you want other people, other fan bases,
no,
especially.
No, that's.
Thank you.
No, but
that is what I'm getting at.
But
why would you want that?
You're missing the point.
I'm not missing the point.
I'm about to say it. Shut the fuck up for 1 second. I'm about to say it. I don't want Tom Lay to be happy. Shut up. I hate all these Rangers fans. I fucking hate them. That's the part that I'm wrestling with. If they would just shut the fuck up or they existed in a vacuum, I could just root for Patrick Kane as an individual athlete and not have to worry about how he's doing it for these people that I can't stand. It's the fans that I fucking, and they're like, we didn't even want him. It's the fans that bother me. But if that's why I said if he went to Dallas or Carolina,
took the words right out of my mouth.
It would be a lot easier. It would be a lot easier. But
if Chris Sale went to the Diamondbacks, it would have been easier.
I still want him to be like I love watching great players, and he plays a game unlike anybody else, and I love watching him play, and I want to see him do well. And the only part that irritates me about the situation, it's not even that he has to, it's not even like the organization thing. It's just the other fans that are bothering me because it's like they don't get it either. Like I have committed 16 years of watching 95% of his shifts. What?
Well, I was hoping Statboy could weigh in and maybe you could break the argument.
I don't like that Statboy has a computer today. I don't like that.
No, he's stuffed up.
We're done with that computer over there.
But that's what I wrestle with. It's like I get triggered by these fucking people on the internet, but I love Patrick Kane.
And that was the original question.
Kane
Are you
deserves to win.
Happy with Tom? For Tom, if Patrick
I'm
Kane,
not happy for Tom.
That's where the hesitation was. We had it recorded, and that's where I got sincerely offended because that was the question originally.
All right, but I might have been that.
And now you're trying to amend things.
No, that hesitation might have been me anticipating happy for Kane. And then it's like when I hear
Tom.
This entire segment is about who's happy over Tom.
Tom, I'm gonna say this. I hope you never sniff an ounce of sports success.
Yeah, like there will be a
ounce.
There will be a part of me.
I don't want that open asshole of sports success even getting near your nostrils.
If there will be part of me that if the Devils beat the Rangers in the first round, I'll be happy about it.
Absolutely,
I'll be happy. With it.
Absolutely,
part of me.
We are in full-on agreement. Chief can see.
It's getting personal on you?
Yeah, this is getting a little too far, Chief.
Why?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, but that you're saying you're going to form an alliance with Islanders and Devils, and
yeah, because you guys are annoying.
There's no coming back from that.
This
Chief.
is
if that's true. Then
Sox fans kind of take offense to this.
We'll be coworkers, and that's it.
They say Sox fans take offense when people say the White Sox aren't Sox fans' favorite teams. It's whoever's playing the Cubs.
Not everything is about the fucking White Sox. Dude. Holy shit.
Hey, Tom, this is a Chicago sports segment, and we talk about your Rangers team more than anybody.
Yeah, but
gives a
you're
fuck.
like going so fucking like crazy personal about my happiness and all this shit. Like I haven't won anything. I'm as big of a loser as you, dude. I'm not sitting here. I'm not the Twitter avatar that you want me to be.
You're
so
not.
Shut up.
I'm
not gonna keep taking that shit. I'm not some fucking Yankees fan on Twitter that abused you at some point.
But Tom,
you have
you're
some,
that
built
Tom
up
Cook.
PTSD to work with.
You're the face of that in this room.
Yeah,
I'm not.
By proximity.
Yes.
I'm not even fucking talking. You realize this is all about the Yankees. This is all about the Yankees to Dave. That's all this is about.
I haven't mentioned
the Red
Yankees.
Sox.
I was talking
that's
about
all it's
the Red
about. Then
Sox.
why do you not want me anywhere close to the asshole of success, Dave?
Because that would
Why?
mean that I'm not experiencing that success.
You want no one to have joy.
No.
Yeah.
Is that not a fair statement from a fan?
You just like supported Chief though, rooting for the Islanders or the Devils though. So
I haven't committed to that.
Yeah, because that would mean that and you know exactly what stereotypical New York fan I'm talking about. I'm not saying that's you. I've never said that's you at any point in our professional or out of work relationship at any point. Obviously, because you're 10 feet from me at all hours of the day, you're going to catch some New York shrapnel considering what I deal with Yankees fans. So I'm sorry if you'd like me to stop making fun of your little New York Yankees and New York or Giants or Rangers or whoever, then fine, I'll do that.
All right, we got to wrap this.
I'm not quite done yet, though.
My
point is
we'll
that
be back.
Why would I want any other fan base ever to be happy? That doesn't. It sincerely does not make sense to me. It's like, oh, I'm happy for Cubs fans. If you were a White Sox fan that said that,
no one's. But like, what does that have to do?
If you're a Yankees fan that said, I was happy for the Red Sox in 2003 when they broke the curse of the Bambino, I hate your guts.
That's the one thing I agree with Dave. I'm not arguing against that. I agree.
So
you shouldn't.
When I say I don't want to see the New York Rangers experience success because that success was supposed to belong to us for the entirety of Patrick Kane's career, what is weird about that?
I just don't want let's not bring the Devils and Islanders into this. That crossed the line.
I didn't.
I did that.
I couldn't name one player on either team.
I got 4 other quick notes. 4 notes is a lot for a quick notes.
We didn't read 3 cheat.
I'm going to come back to it.
Okay.
So I got 4 other quick notes. So, speaking on what you said about how they're going to be cashing checks for eternity from Patrick Kane, Wilson Contreras is a fucking idiot.
Oh,
you're a fucking idiot to say that the Cardinals are a better organization than the Cubs, even if they are. You're a fucking idiot.
They're a great organization, but you don't say that out loud.
You don't say for a team like literally the dumbest business decision you could ever make for a team, for a city that has trotted out old 85 Bears for the last 40 fucking years, and that are still making money on one championship. He could be in the exact same position.
You think he's going to be at the 2020 or we'll call it 2036 because he'll be retired by then. All those guys will. Do you think he'll be invited to? I wouldn't invite his ass if I had any say in it.
Sure, maybe not.
I mean,
bonehead, dude.
Stupid.
What a fucking moron, dude. Like I almost feel bad. He should just never have said that because he could make his living for the rest of his life.
He would have a car dealership commercial, ink and law forever. Yeah,
exactly. Stupid as fuck. Wilson Contreras,
On that
what
note,
are you doing?
Ed, having said that, now, do you want Patrick Kane to have success having heard what Dylan Strom said about him?
Oh my God, are we going back to this?
It's not too
Can
dissimilar.
I fire off my 4 quick notes?
Yeah, 4 quick notes.
Not too dissimilar, but continue.
Do I want Patrick Kane to have success?
It's a little different.
I think
Patrick
you can
Kane,
say
I don't hate the Rangers and I don't hate New York Yankees fans like you do, okay?
But you do hate the car. Fair point.
Okay, so I don't listen, if Patrick Kane scores an overtime game winner, I'll be happy for him. Like, what do you want me to say? In the playoffs, there is that element, sure. Will I be sitting there if
I don't think you'll be happy for him. I think you won't be mad for him.
But it's kind of like how Patriots fans were in a pickle when Brady went to Tampa Bay. And I think a lot of Patriots fans adopted, hey, we are rooting for you for any game except when you play the Patriots.
Half 1, half 2.
Now that's stupid. I
agree.
But
I'm saying I think if a Hawks fan is conflicted and they want to root for Patrick Kane, I think you're fine to do that. He's in a different conference. I know it's an original 6, but it's not a traditional rivalry.
They're not rivals at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's okay.
It's just like,
hey, you know what, Chief? You know what it is? It would be good for hockey, though.
It would.
And at the end of the day, we all want hockey to succeed.
That's true. That is
Bump
true.
the cap up. We all get good players.
But like if he scores that, that's true. Like that is like that is back to the complications like how
so
the
you should
NHL
be rooting for the
financials
Rangers.
work.
All right, thanks.
All the big market, like the league is in a better position if the big market teams go on deep playoff runs because they make more money.
Now, would it hurt in the future when there's Glenny and people like that going nuts at the Cup parade and like acting like Kane is their guy? That
That'll
would
bother
fucking
me.
be very
Yeah.
painful.
Thank you.
Same thing with Rizzo if he won a fucking World Series. With
If
That
he scores,
is
let's say he scores an OT winner against the Devils in the first round or something like that, I will just kind of like, it'll be like you got like a slight smile with like a tear rolling down my face, where it's like
and I love Glenny. You just can't have your cake and eat it too. It's a hard situation.
Yeah.
It's a hard situation.
I don't know. I've never been through anything like this before, ever.
Exactly.
Okay? And there have been guys that left. Duncan Keith. It's just he's at a different level.
Oh, of course.
He's at a different level, and the Hawks have done it with Roenick, Belfour, Chelios. Like Chelios went to the fucking Red Wings, okay, and won a cup there. Like that was very difficult to swallow. I think that would be more difficult to swallow than Kane winning one with the Rangers. Chelios winning with the Red Wings would be worse than Kane winning with the Rangers.
Yeah. All right. Bulls 2-1 since I got Pat Bev. Love to see that. They're playing with a little different energy, it feels like.
What point of the 4 is this?
This is point 2.
Okay.
Point 3, Jalen Carter has a warrant out for his arrest.
Tough.
Not good.
I still, because of the due process of the law, he's still at the top of my draft board. For now.
All right. But not good, nevertheless.
They're going to draft him.
Number 4. Congratulations.
We got to talk about this for a
Number
split
4.
second. Hold on. Number 3. This isn't on time limit. This isn't a basketball game. From what I understand, he was drag racing, correct?
That's what it sounds like.
That's what the word alleges.
Did anybody get hurt?
Yeah, someone died.
I take back what I was about to say. I take back what I was about to say. Don't touch him with the 10-foot pole. I thought they got to take it to a fucking
Hey, Dave.
to bring it to the speed camera thing that I drafted in the snake draft. I thought he might have got caught going like 120 and a 50.
Dave. I'm so glad you interrupted me. I'm so glad you interrupted me.
I'm going to continue interrupting.
I know. I love you for it. I do. I sincerely do. Last point. Holy fuck. How do I follow that up? My last point was talking shit. Team ZD is 2-0 against Team Chicago all time. Big win yesterday. Thank you for the dozen
that
fans.
was such a game of inches. I got the one.
Well, I gave him
wrong.
True Blood too.
I can't wait to see the replay on that. I haven't rewatched it yet, but I think you beat the buzzer on that.
I think. Well, Carl said it,
And that would have been the last thing said.
yeah, but then I would have to then say final. I don't know what the rules are. I feel like the rules are changing, but yeah.
What were you going to say, Danny?
I was just curious. We were in the office while you guys were playing, and Dave was like the loudest I ever heard you scream. What was the question you got wrong?
It was, do you remember this song Torn by Natalie Imbruglia?
I sure do.
Yeah, great song. I think she was a one-hit wonder. But it was finished the next 4 lyrics, and I was off by like an A
word.
and a the or
Yeah.
something. And as soon as I
Can I
got
tell
it
you
wrong,
something?
I knew I just gave it to them because it was one or the other.
I thought I had it in my head, but I deferred to you because you're the music guy. And
Well, did you have it?
I did, but I was like not super sure, but I was like singing it in my head, and then when you were like, and I'm like, Dave's a music guy.
I'm all out of place. This is how I feel.
Well, congrats to Team ZD. 2-0 against Team Chicago.
It was a good game.
Feels good. It was a good game.
Our defense stinks. We lose every game after.
Yeah,
putting
we're giving
like
up
12,
way too many
13
points.
Yeah. I mean, it was 12-12 going into round 12. You can't ask for a better game than that. So, shout out to the dozen. And, shout out to this show. I mean, people thought we weren't going to fucking talk about sports. It's impossible not to get fired up once in a while. So, that was fun. That was good, nice engagement.
Can you say that I won the argument between Chief and I?
I will say thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for watching.
pussy.
Subscribe to the YouTube, like, comment. And we will see you all live at 2 p.m. Central on Tuesday.